we still don't have a decision on WrestleMania, but in the immediate future, there are some changes to WWE's schedule.
There are, due to the pandemic, and I'll say that again, and we just make it clear why we're saying pandemic as opposed to the thing that you know what we're talking about, because YouTube will demonetize us if we use the C word. Not that C word, the other C word.
They're a big bunch of C words.
They are. So let's take a look at the house shows that have been cancelled this weekend. First of all, the Coca-Cola Coliseum, the Triple C in Toronto, Canada, is releasing the following statement. The WWE Live Road to WrestleMania Super Show event scheduled for this Saturday at the Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, I like that, has been cancelled. Refunds are available at the point of purchase, and also the Covelli Center, which was going to be a house show in Youngstown, posting a statement on their Facebook page announcing the cancellation of that show also.
This comes after Mike DeWine, who is the governor of Ohio, says there'll be no spectators at indoor events in that state. There's a UFC show coming up in about 2 weeks' time. It'd be weird to hear like the smacking of skin in an empty arena.
Well, that leads us on quite nicely to the smacking of skin in the Performance Center, which is where tonight's SmackDown is now confirmed as emanating from. Now, this is all a bit weird because it was announced, well, it's reported that WWE were going to be cancelling the show, cancelling SmackDown in the planned venue and then moving it to the Performance Center. Then WWE came back and said, no, it's going to go ahead as planned. And then, late last night, literally 2 minutes after our video went live, they said, yeah, actually, it is going to happen from the Performance Center. So that's going to happen tonight with reduced staff, minimal, just the staff that are essential. So it's going to basically be either like an empty arena event, or maybe there'll be a few wrestlers there in the crowd or something. This is going to be a really interesting night of TV tonight. Really,
really fascinating. This is so far removed from what Fox paid for. That big arena, but we get why. It's absolutely fine. I am. Isn't it funny how SmackDown seems to only become must-see TV during times of absolute chaos?
Certainly recently. It's fallen off a bloody cliff, hasn't it?
Saudi Arabia thing from last time.
Yes.
And the
NXT all came.
NXT turned up because the plane didn't get there. And now this tonight with the pandemic, it's like, I'm very intrigued.
It should be the other way round. All the money in the world being thrown at this show. And it's weird, because when I used to do SmackDown Graded, I was like, hey, this is really bloody good. There's a couple of good matches every week. And now I skim through the highlights generally. I don't even watch it in full anymore. I just think, oh God, this is pretty guff, isn't it?
I'm so intrigued as to how this is going to play out. But I guess the show must go on because we're on the road to WrestleMania still.
Well, we are currently.
As it stands.
There are a few speed bumps in the way, let's say that much. Yeah, I mean, the WrestleMania announcement yesterday, basically it read like the state are saying WWE should be cancelling this before they have to do it for them. I see WrestleMania, in my opinion, I think it's going to be postponed this year. I don't see it going ahead. Everything's being cancelled. Everything is being cancelled. Like XFL have just had to cut their season short. Vince must be proper upset about that one. But all of the sporting leagues are having to cancel or postpone shows. And I just don't see WrestleMania. And you know what? I think it's a little bit unfair on the fans, maybe. The people who are travelling over there, who are still maybe arranging transport or accommodation or whatever. They're making arrangements. And I think we're sort of just delaying the inevitable at this point, aren't we?
It remains to be seen. So obviously the governor has said that they want like a ban on all public events for 30 days, effective almost immediately. Whereas the mayor, Jane Castor, has said we want to look at, we don't want to make a decision on events that are happening weeks down the road. So the mayor is a bit reluctant to put the kibosh on WrestleMania because it is still, 3 weeks away?
It's 3 weeks
away, which is still like it's no time at all in the grand scheme of things.
But this pandemic isn't going anywhere in the next few weeks. I think it's pretty safe to say that. That's what all of the expert opinion is suggesting. It's going to be still around. I guess, assess it closer to the time, but it leaves people in limbo for sure. Not just fans, but staff, wrestlers, everyone.
WWE put out an official statement yesterday saying, while we remain committed to hosting WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday, April the 5th, we are putting contingency plans in place in the event it is cancelled by government officials, civil authorities and or local venues. The health and safety of our fans, performers, employees are our top priorities, and we are monitoring the situation closely with our partners and government officials in Tampa Bay.
I love that. The health, safety of our fans, performers and employees is our top priority, but we still definitely want to run the show and SmackDown
weren't doing it.
Yeah,
We really want
you can
it.
blame them. The amount of the investment that's gone into this from numerous parties, especially WWE, of course, it's absolutely huge money. I can't imagine the legal ramifications of something like this. How complicated it must be with insurance and just everything. Think about how difficult WrestleMania must be to put together from a logistical standpoint, and then throw this into the mix.
It's one of those, I mean, like, it's the fact that it's WrestleMania. Like, had we been on the road to Battleground, like, it'd have already been cancelled. We'd have already had other plans for 3 weeks' time, but because it's WrestleMania, it's a very different situation. I kind of, like, to play devil's avocado, I kind of see where Jane Castor's coming from in the sense of not making the final call yet. We sat here this time last week, didn't we, you and I? Mm-hmm. And we did some news. And it was just a standard news affair.
I missed that.
Good days, weren't they? The good days.
Broken finger.
They were good days, weren't they? Broken finger. So is CM Punk coming back? Oh, he's back. Never mind. But it's that. So like a week, and suddenly a week on. Like you think in the last 3 days, like how much has cancelled, changed, postponed, moved, and all this stuff. A week down the road, we could be in a different place, potentially.
I get what
devil's
you're saying,
avocado.
but keep in mind that in the past 3 days or the past week or however long, things have gotten significantly worse, and all expert opinion is pointing to the fact that it is going to continue to get worse.
Okay, well, we will see, obviously.
We will, yeah.
When we know more,
you'll
know more as well. AEW making some big changes as well.
Absolutely. 2 episodes of Dynamite have been relocated. Next Wednesday's Dynamite has been moved from the Blue Cross Arena in Rochester, New York, to the Daly's Place Amphitheater in Jacksonville, Florida.
In Florida, weirdly.
Big change. Oh, yeah. The show will be managed under a restricted attendance policy. We don't have any further information on that at this time, but I would perhaps suggest
I think it'll just be the Dark Order. Just the Dark Order in the crowd.
I would suggest that maybe it's maybe younger people and older people might not be allowed in.
You have to be this tall to watch Dynamite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. The Wednesday, March 25th, Blood and Guts episode of Dynamite will no longer take place at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, but it hasn't been revealed quite yet where the March 25th show will be relocated to. A really interesting thing, it was mentioned on yesterday's video, but we'll say it again because I think it's lovely. Tony Khan mentioning that if wrestlers are unable to travel, or if they don't want to travel, they're not going to be judged for doing so. They're not going to lose their push, their spot on the card, anything like that. So that was really refreshing to me.
Yeah, I think in times like this, in very uncertain times, it's nice to hear things like that said.
Yeah,
if you're
totally.
an employee of a big company like that.
And I'm seeing wrestlers pop up on social media. I think Sami Callihan, I read this morning, just saying, hey, he's not going to do any shows because it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Absolutely. Also, a lot of other shows are being cancelled in the run-up to WrestleMania, and some real heartbreaking ones in here as well. For Ring of Honor, they have a big show. They were scheduled to have a big show tonight and tomorrow. It was their 18th anniversary show, and they were going to put on Ring of Honor Past versus Present, which both shows really intrigued by. They put out a statement to say, well, the marquee 18th anniversary and the very special Past versus Present events were ready to show the world why Ring of Honor is truly the best promotion on the planet. The safety and health of our fans, talent, and staff are always our utmost priority. Additional information will be provided as soon as possible. Thank you for understanding, and we appreciate your continued patronage and support.
OTT cancelling its biggest event of the year, Scrapomania, of course, which was due to be headlined by David Starr versus Jon Moxley. That event has been cancelled. They released a statement yesterday. A lovely bit here, though. Jon Moxley, God bless him. He donated. There's like a GoFundMe set up to give money to OTT because obviously this is a huge financial burden at this point. This has been very financially damaging. Jon Moxley, who was meant to debut for the company, donating €1,000. Lovely man.
Really lovely.
Because he's lost a payday and he still gives money. No, it's just great.
What has really warmed my heart is watching, and there'll be companies near you that are doing the same, but I've watched people rally around OTT because they knew what a big deal Scrapomania was, and it was a massive show for them, their biggest show ever. And I've seen people tweeting OTT saying, I'm not going to ask for a refund, keep the money. And things like, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of wonderful support from the indie wrestling world at the moment. Also, as you're heading into WrestleMania week, we're already starting to see some shows cancelled in that week. The Bullet Club Beach Party is cancelled from April the 4th, as is WXW 16 Carat Revenge. The slightly different reason for that being cancelled, obviously the 30-day ban for Schengen residents means that a lot of WXW guys from Germany can't travel to America. So they've had to pull that for obvious reasons, because you can't showcase that show the way that it's meant to. Also, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla are postponing their show Kobe, which was scheduled for the 29th of March. They've got an idea for a rescheduled date, but they want to wait and see how everything pans out before they reveal anything else.
Makes sense, absolutely. And this is just a small taster, essentially, an unpleasant taster of the many shows that are being cancelled. So obviously, you don't need us to tell you, but check if you're going to a wrestling show that might be coming up in the next few days, check that it's still on. If it's not on, be compassionate. Like, these are businesses that people are running. Wrestlers are losing out on paydays as well. So continue to support indie wrestling. It's going to need it more than ever after this all goes away. Support indie wrestling, support independent wrestlers, buy their merch, do all that stuff, because this has been very damaging financially for a lot of people.